Hi, this is Dave Chenault with Skylight Systems, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use templates that are created in Word, PowerPoint, Excel, or OneNote, and then incorporate those into SideKick365 xRM Ultimate so you can have standardized, simple forms to collect information. So let's take a look and see how to do that. Let's open up ABC Lock and Key. And I want to go and take a look at the Documents tab in this account. And I know that I've made some meeting minute notes in the documents. So let's go take a look at that. And then I'll see how I did that. So here I have a meeting with Lyndon on May 10th. Let me go ahead and click on that. And a lot of our customers have asked about OneNote and how to integrate it in. And I'll go through all that on this video. It's very interesting to see how it works. This is a OneNote template that we've incorporated in to SideKick365 xRM Ultimate. And they're very easy to modify, and you can add your own. We're just leveraging native capabilities in SharePoint. So how would I go about making a new file, a OneNote file of some meeting minutes that I had? Well, it's really easy. I just go to the New tab, or the New button here, and look at that. I've got a template ready to go that I can use to put in my information. So let's do that and watch how it works. OneNote's a little different. It's going to launch on your desktop, and it'll launch that template. If you don't have OneNote 2016 locally loaded, then it's just going to go ahead and launch a blank notebook for you. But if you do have OneNote 2016 on your local PC, it will launch a template that you create. So let's go ahead and give this a name. I'll just call it 22. It doesn't matter. And it'll be just a moment here. And what you'll see is it's going to open up that template, and I can now start adding information into it, and it'll save that into my account. So let's take a look here while it sets up. It takes OneNote just a minute to load everything up. And now I'll go ahead and update that. I'm going to make it today. And I'll put it at, let's say 4 o'clock. And then we'll say that that meeting time when date was a few days ago. So I'll say it's 5/2/16, etc. And present, I was there, as was Mary and Joe. So see how the templates works. It's a full OneNote template. It's just great. I've got editing on so I can see what's been edited. Night present was Mo and Larry. Okay, and any announcements we had, new one. We'll leave it at that. Okay, and it's automatically saving for me, which is great. So whenever I close this down, and I refresh, take me just a minute here, I'm going to see that that meeting with Lyndon, let's go take a look. I had this meeting 10 minutes ago. Let's refresh this and see what we've got here. And there's that meeting 22 I just created. Let's take a look at it. Just 1 second here. And you'll see my notes are all added into that OneNote file, just like that. It's great. Works perfect, and it's launching here in the browser. So again, once you create the template, then anybody can view it in a browser. It's just that first time in OneNote, it's just the way it works, is if you have a template, make sure you have OneNote loaded, so when you say new, that the template gets loaded. Okay, let's take a look at Excel and see how that works. So I'm going to go to a project that I created, and we'll pretend that we're going to do a home inspection. Let's go to Projects. And I'm going to go into this property 1 that I made. And I'm going to hit the Documents tab again. And in the Documents tab, I'm going to see I have no files currently. Let's go ahead and make a new one. And this time I'm going to use Excel as an Excel template. So I click on it. And I'll show you a few little tricks here as we do this. So give it a minute here. Now let's give it an address. So I'll just type away here. I'll call it, first thing it's going to say, let's call it 123 test driveway. And that's in Cupertino. And I'm going to change the name of this file, because if I didn't, it would just save as book in SharePoint in SideKick. So I'm going to give it a new name. I'll call it 33. You can call it whatever you want. We'll give it a date here. Let's give it today's date. And I'll click a couple of buttons here. So I'm just going to do an X. The patch Portio is okay. The doorbell is amazing. Great driveway, etc. You get the idea. Okay, now it's all done. And I've gone ahead and edited. This one's completely in the browser. So now when I go in and hit the back button, I should see that file 33 when I refresh the page. So I'll give it a second here. It knows it's there, but I want to refresh it. And you can see that file that it created. And if I go ahead and click on it again, I should see that data that I entered in. So take a look there. There's all my check marks. I'm on the front doors, etc. And if I want to edit it, like I noticed it didn't like that date format, I can edit in the browser. And I'm not sure what format it wants on this template. I'll just go ahead and change that out. I'll give it, didn't like that. Maybe it likes the dashes better. We'll try that. And tab. It just depends on what they set up on this template. Again, it's a free template. So it doesn't look like it likes any of them, but that's okay. You get the basic idea. We're using different templates here. Now the trick is, how did I do this? How did I get it to work like this, where I go say new and I have these templates ready to go? Well, I'm going to show you that right now. So let's go into a different version of SideKick that I've got that's completely clean. Okay, this one here, let's go take a look here at the front page. And what you're going to notice is it just has a little bit of information in it. It's just a couple of an account and opportunity and a few projects, etc. Right? So let's go ahead and look at this one. Let's look at the account. And I'll go into documents on this one and see what I have available. This is like it was loaded right out of the store. Nothing's been changed on it. So when I come in here, and I go to say new on this one, there are no templates listed. Okay, so we need to figure out how to add those templates. How do you do that? This is kind of tricky. It took us a while, but I will show you exactly how to do it so you can spare all the agony I went through. So let's go into the site that holds SideKick. And what we want to do is we're going to create some content types. So I go to Site Settings, and I go to Site Content Types, and I'm going to create a new one. And I'm going to use simple names in this case. This one's going to be just a Meeting Notes MN1. I'll make it simple. And that's going to be my OneNote template. I'm going to use a document content type. I'm going to use a document. And I'm going to put it into the document content types group. So I just MN1, document content types, document. Say OK. Now it's going to ask me where that template is. I'm going to go to Advanced Settings. And I'm going to go grab a template that I've got on my local drive. It's a OneNote package that I exported, and I'll call it Meeting Template, and you see it right there. So the trick for OneNote is when you go into OneNote and set it up, just make sure you do an export, and then you go in and say it's going to be a package that you can then import into SharePoint, like I'm showing you here. Okay, so that's really the trick, is in OneNote, just go in and export it. and give it a OneNote package type. So I'm going to say OK. I'm going to open that. And everything else is fine by default. And I'm going to make one more. So there's MN1. Okay, let's go back to Site Content Types. Let's create another new one. This one will be Home Inspection 1, so I'll call it HI1. Again, a document type, and I'm going to put it in the document content types. I'll say OK. And I'm going to go to Advanced Settings again, and I'm going to upload that Excel spreadsheet and use that as a template. So I know I've got that one in here right there under Home Inspection Checklist. Say Open. OK. And that's it. Now I have these site content types defined. The last step is going to be associating those content types into the document library that we have in each of these different items. And you only have to do it once. This is a one-time setup. So let's go into Tin Soldiers. That opportunity could be in any of them just to set it up. And I'm going to go into the Documents tab. So you could go into Projects, Accounts, or Opportunities like I'm doing here. And now I'm just going to click somewhere on this check mark here because I want this Library tab to highlight. And I'm going to click on that so the ribbon becomes active. And I'm going to click on Modify View. And then I'm going to use a special backdoor. I want to get to those document library settings. So I click on the word settings. And I go into a listing here of content types. And I say add from existing site content types. How about that? Let's take a look. So if I select document, then I should see there's our H1. I'm going to add that. And then meeting notes 1 should be there somewhere. There it is. Add that. OK. And you can give it better names than that, but this is for our purposes is fine. And let's go back in now and try and use those. So now when I go into, let's say, an account, and I go to my documents, and I now say new, let's see what happens. How about that? There they are. Let's try it. So I go ahead and select it. And what I'm going to do now is just give it a simple name. Take just a moment here. So you see OneNote's loading. And it's going to ask me for a name. So I'll let it grind away. I'll give it, I'll just call it D1. Simple. Just give it a minute here to create that template for us. So it went and grabbed the template I stored as a content type. It's unpacking it. You can see it. And now I should have a blank meeting minutes template loading up for me that I can use. And there it is. How about that? So now I click on it. And I'll make it that I entered it today at, I'll put it back an hour. 2:30. And I can start to use it as I would expect. So we'll say we had the meeting, let's say the beginning of the month. And etc. You get the idea. Okay, so now we're in good shape. Let's close this one down. Actually, I'll give it a title as well. Let's call it New Meeting. Okay, and push it over here. Now I'm going to close it. And let's let it refresh. It'll take just a moment. And just make sure everything went in there. Let's go ahead and open it up. And there it is, new meeting with the date, the time, etc. that I put in there. So that's pretty cool. Let's go now look at the project. And I'm going to add in that new Excel template like I showed you the last time through. So we go to Projects, and I go to this guy here. I'll just actually make a new project. Let's make a new one. I'll call it P2. Something simple. And a start date of today. Okay, as soon as it saves, I'll have my document tab, and I'll go on my documents. And I'll add in a new Excel template. So go in here and say new. There's that home inspection 1. You can call them whatever you want. And now it's loading up for us. There's our inspection, just like I hoped it would be. Let's give it a name. I'll just come up here and call it Dave 1. And the address is whatever I want it to be. I could make it, let me take a second here while it's renaming it. So I'll make it, let's make it 1, 2, 3, 4, First Street in Santa Ana. Okay, I'll pick a couple. The porch was terrible on this house, but the back doors were okay. And the doorbell was great as well. And so you see, again, I just have a nice Excel spreadsheet that I downloaded for free that I can fill in. That's great. And it automatically saves for me, which is also great. And it's free, which is the best part of all. And now I'll go ahead and hit the back button. And let's see if that file is there with all the data in it. So give it a second here. I'm going to refresh. And almost like magic, there it is. There's my file a few seconds ago. Let's click on it. And I should see all those entries I just made, and I do. There it is. So this is very, very powerful and useful stuff. And by the way, if you want to edit it, make sure you go over here to edit the workbook and say edit in the browser or in Excel. I'll just say the browser, and I can continue editing as I need to, right? Since I've already created it, now I want to edit it. I don't even have to hit save. It's just ready to go, and I can start to continue with my inspection of the house. So again, I hope you see how powerful this is. We can use standard Microsoft Office tools, create templates. They're just regular files. The only trick is with OneNote, you want to go ahead and export that as a OneNote package, and then that package will be loaded up for your template. With Excel, Word, and PowerPoint, they're just regular files. And then you can use those in your content type that I showed you. So let's review all of this step by step. The point of this video was to show you that you can create different templates from the Office tools and make them show up here in your New button. And the way to do that is just use those tools to create the templates. And then you wanted to go into the site that holds SideKick. You go on the site settings and go into the site content types. And we'll do that right now again. And it's here under Web Designer Galleries. And then all you do is go ahead and hit the Create. And I added those to my document content types so they display in the document library. And I've got document and H1, etc. I've got all these different ones that are out of the box, plus the ones I made, MN1 and HI1. They don't have to be here, I don't think, but I put them here just because I can keep track of where they are. I think you could probably make a custom one as well. So they're there now for the whole site. Then the trick is I come into SideKick, and I go into an opportunity, an account, or a project. It doesn't really matter which. I hit the document tab. And then I go into the document tab itself. And what I want to do is hit any of those lines so the library tab activates. I select Modify View. I select Settings. And I add those content types that I defined. right here using the add from existing site content types. And when I do that, they magically appear in the drop-down, and they're now available so I can use it throughout SideKick365 xRM Ultimate. Now, don't go in here and define new fields. You have to use Manager for that, but you can modify the view of what you're showing. For example, in I believe this one was our looks like our account here. So I could throw in additional fields if I wanted in the list, but that's another video. So I hope you found this interesting. It's a very, very powerful capability of being able to use standard tools like Word, Excel, OneNote to create templates, and then to have those available within Sidekick so you can go in and use them and fill them out. Then everybody in the company's got the same format, and of course they're searchable because they're just standard Office files. Okay, this is Dave Chenault with Skylight Systems. I know this was a little bit of a long video, but very interesting, and I hope you got a lot out of it. Do not hesitate to reach out to us with questions. You can email us at info@skylightsystems.com, and that's SKYLITESYSTEMS.com. We'll get right back to you, and thank you for watching this video.